Okay, very good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
Can you see the slides? Can you see the presentation or there may be a screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see the screen. Okay. Okay, before going into the session, let me introduce myself. And before that, before introducing myself, I warmly welcome all the newly selected or recruited assistant registrars, assistant bursars, and assistant internal auditors to the university system. So you all are lucky for having selected to the executive members of the university system. You are going to be the leaders of the universities in future in the category of registrar and bursar, or maybe the auditors. So by welcoming you all, let me introduce have a brief introduction about me. My name is Safeek. Currently, I'm working in the Southeastern University of Sri Lanka as assistant bursar. And previously, I worked in the government audit as a national audit officer. And at the same time, after working in the government audit department, I worked as an accountant in the divisional secretariat. And after that, now currently I'm working as assistant bursar. And few months back, I got a promotion, but unfortunately, I didn't assume that I didn't go to the. I don't get the. I don't. Unfortunately, I didn't get the promotion due to my personal reason. Uh, I didn't accept the senior assistant bursar category. So that's all about my career background. So with that information, we can straight away going into the session. Right now, here most of the people are bursar category, or maybe in other word, I can say financial category, and some other people are from the administration part, general administration, or maybe assistant registrars who are going to mainly deal with the administrative parts of the university. But according to my experience, right, even though the assistant registrars, you all are going to work in the administrative section, fine, you don't think that financial administration is not relevant to you, right? This is relevant for entire category, even for the registrar level or bursar level, or maybe the auditors. This is very important because you are the people, say, for example, if you are appointed to the faculty, you have to deal with, or involved with the financial division, and you have to deal with budgeting, preparation of budget, payment, and a lot of things you have to be involved. So this is relevant for you also. So in today's session, right, this is a broad area. Financial administration part is a broad area. Uh, in today's session, I'm going to give you a brief of our topic is mainly overview of financial regulation and how these financial regulations are applicable to the university system. That is our key understanding or key learning outcome for today's lesson. So that's why I have so there are so many things that we have to do. If time permits, so if you are interested in future, we can see a lot of things, right, in the upcoming classes. So now I'll start with this financial regulations part, and I want to give you some. There are so many people who worked in the audit, worked as a audit assistant, or maybe in the financial divisions. Some of you have some exposures and experiences, but some of you are from the external category people. I think some of you may not have ideas about these financial regulations, and you may not have idea about the financial affairs of the university system. So, assuming that, right, there are people without the knowledge of financial background, I'm going to do the session today. Right, within 1.5 hour time, I'll try to do my best, and so I think this will be, I will be using simple language so that all of you can understand, because you all are now executive officers. Probably your language will be, I think, good enough to understand. Previously, last time before the exam, I believe that I did a class on procurement for Tamil medium students, on procurement, especially on procurement, since I am currently attached to the procurement division of Southeast University. I did that part. So now I'm going to share some insights and knowledge about financial regulations and how these financial regulations are applicable to our university system, right? So hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible. Yes, you're
Yeah,
audible,
okay,
sir.
thank you. So, if possible, I'll try to give some practical scenarios as well, right? So now today's lesson is financial regulation of the government of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, right? We want to see how these FR, the short form of financial regulation is FR, right? How these FRs are connected to the university system. That is our main learning outcome for today's class. So with that, right? So I want to briefly give some introduction or maybe brief about financial regulations and how these financial regulations are formed and how this is connected. And those introduction possibly I can start now. So actually, uh, financial regulation is the guideline, right? Normally, what we know, most of the presenters, what they do is they prepare slide. Even myself, I do a lot of classes for the government officers as well. Apart from the university staff, I do the classes for development officers, management service officers for their efficiency bar and competitive exams. But normally for the classes, what normally we do is we just prepare the slides in a presentation point and we deliver the lecture or read through that lecture. And so after a few days or few months, that will not be available with you, right? So what the purpose, mainly the purpose of sharing this entire document? This is the document, right? Financial regulation is the document of the finance ministry, right? So this document you are going to refer. We will use this as a reference for your future things, right? When you are come across with any issues, any doubts you want to clarify, you can go into this and you can get some things out of this, right? There are so many things, right? So that is the main reason I have taken this entire document. Actually, this is available in the website of the Treasury website or Ministry of Finance. You can download it. But this one is actually, and one more thing, this document is available only in English language, right? Not in Tamil or single language, it is not available, but only in English language it is available. And this document was issued in 1992. Still, we are using this document, right? Unfortunately, I would say that there are so many people who maybe few people working in the universities are and how these are governed. Then I want to give some hello, dears.
No, sir. No,
Right.
sir.
Okay. So that is the reason I have shared this entire document, financial regulation document. Sorry. And I will give you some important areas. I will share some important areas that are relevant only to the university system. There are a lot of things in these regulations, but we are not coming under the ministry. We are not the department. We are not direct ministries, right? We are the universities. We are coming under the state-owned enterprise. So, not all the matters included, all the FRs are included in this document may not be relevant for us, but I will pick some relevant areas and guide you through, right? For your future reference, this will help you a lot. Okay. With that introduction, so finance, Ministry of Finance, right? Down the line, I'm going down, right? So here, these, right, I have highlighted the important points. Only those matters you have to refer, right? this financial regulation was issued by the Ministry of Finance in 1992. Before that also it was issued, but currently what we are using is the financial regulations of the government of Sri Lanka, which was issued in 1992. Right here, right, basic things I want to understand here is these regulations have been approved by the Honorable Minister of Finance. I told you, and will come into effect from the date it has been gazetted. That is normal, no? And again, financial regulations are binding on ministries, departments, statutory bodies, right? We are coming under statutory bodies, right? Even though we are not department, we are not ministries, but we are coming under the ministry, under the supervision of ministry, but we are statutory bodies. So no one can say that these financial regulations are not relevant to the university system, right? These financial regulations are relevant even for our universities, right? Keep in mind. And also to all state employees, right? State employees in the sense, we are also working in the government organization, university is a government institution or statutory body. So since we are also bound to follow the financial regulations, right? There are sometime you may encounter some problem with working with other teachers, or maybe teachers, or maybe non-academic other staff. You may have to explain. Sometime I'll with this point I can share you one practical example, right? One practical example I faced, right? Like you, I also was appointed in 2018, right? After few months of the appointment, right? One teacher came to me claiming for a payment of maybe I think I remember 60,000 or something, more than 60,000. But he did not get any authorization. Authorization we will learn in future classes. That is delegation of financial functions, right? Under the delegation of financial function, authorization. Authorization, in other words, I can say simply prior approval. No prior approval has been obtained. And he came with the invoice. He purchased some tools for the practical or something online. So he came with the documents, and he wanted me to make the payment. That time I was assigned to the payment division as an assistant bursar. So that time I pointed out him, I told him, okay, this is not the way you have to do. You had to get a prior approval or maybe authorization. Who authorized this? At least vice chancellor, or maybe within the limit of the authorized people, you would have got the authorization. But there is no authorization. How can I pay? He argued with me, and he told me that why do I want to get the authorization? Where should I get it? I told you go and get the approval from the vice chancellor. He told me that no, I am the lecturer, I am the academic staff. Why do I want to get the authorization? This is not material. You have to pay. And likewise, he argued. I told him that this is the university. So these are the points we can use. You also may sometimes come across with this kind of practical issues. So you want to tell him, right? This financial regulation is applicable to all state employees. We are also state employees, right? Government employees. So this is the main point. May be helpful for you to explain the teachers when they are saying that they don't want to follow the financial. Sometimes there are people, they will say they are not considered, they are not worried about the financial regulations that AR and AB have to follow. That is not the case. But there are people still they are arguing. So we can use this point to explain them. Right? Hope you can understand. Right? So again, these financial regulations will apply unless they are fully adopted. This is something else, right? So this is the basic idea about the financial regulation. So this is applicable to the university system, and this is applicable to all state employees. These are the key outcomes that you have to uh, obtain from this point, right? Okay, again, government financial regulations or interpretations or maybe amendments, it is hereby notified that the Minister of Finance has approved the government, right? I have explained you, right? This was issued by the Ministry of Finance, right? You know, Minister of Finance, he is the person, he is accountable, he is having the final or ultimate accountability to the Parliament, right? I will explain further, right? Right. Before that, before moving into the right rest of the areas, I'll come to this area again. right? In addition to the financial regulations, right? We are not restricted with the financial limit regulations. We are not limited only to the financial regulations. As a financial officer or maybe administrative officer, in addition to these financial regulations of the government of Sri Lanka, which was issued by the finance minister, there are so many other requirements that we have to follow, right? Ministry of Finance, right? Say, Treasury circulars or Ministry of Finance circulars. There are 13 departments, Treasury departments, 13 departments. Maybe the National Budget Department is there, right? And Department of Public Finance, Department of State Accounts. There are so many departments. So they also will provide guidelines and circulars. So we have to follow those things. Okay. And again, we are directly coming under the education ministry. Now there is no more higher education ministry. Everything is coming under the university is directly coming under the education ministry. So sometime the ministries may issue some directives regarding the financial affairs. So we have to follow. And again, UGC circulars, right? UGC will issue finance circulars. So you can you will when you are working practically, you will come to know what all these things are. You can get to know from your colleagues. And in university, sometime based on these guidelines or circulars, they may have issued internal circulars or internal control system or internal management guidelines, financial guideline system or whatever the names they will issue. So we have to abide by. And in addition to that, again, there is a university systems are governed by the University Act. In the University Act itself, there is a specific provision for the financial affairs. Right, financial matters are discussed there. We'll discuss one by one. So, Financial University Act also will be applicable and will be useful for us to have some understanding about the financial affairs. And one more important thing is Public Financial Management Act number 44 of 2024. Right, this is one of the most recently introduced very critical act, right, governing the financial affairs of the country of all the institutions, right? So we are also have to follow. And with the in respect of audit affairs, audit matters, right, there are certain provisions included in the financial regulation, right? So many matters, so many contents are right available, or we can get so many matters. So from these financial regulations. But in addition to this, there are certain provisions may be available in this area, right? So with regard to audit, right, there are right provisions in these financial regulations. There are provisions in the constitution itself. Right. In addition to that, there is another audit act has been issued in 2018, National Audit Act. There are also certain matters we have to right, we have to know with regard to audit framework. And special another one which also was recently introduced, but right, we'll do this area in another class, upcoming classes. And Inland Revenue Act, EPF Act, TTF Act, Gratuity Act is there. Even Establishment Code also. Even in the Establishment Code there E-Code, there are certain provisions that is giving some sort of our entitlements. So how overtime should be calculated, for example, right? These are the things given in the Establishment Code. So you now these are the areas also we want to know. So now tell me, let me tell you, financial regulations are the guidelines on how, right? Keep this point, take this point in your mind. How the expenditures have to be incurred and how the revenue should be collected. These are the rules, right? Not this is not connected with preparing the final accounts. In the university system, we are using SLIPSA, so public sector accounting standards, to prepare the final accounts. That is not here, right? These are the regulations. When you are incurring an expenditure, how we are going to do this? When you are collecting the revenue, how we are going to do this? Right? How the answers for the answers for how we are going to deal with the expenditure. So those are the guidelines. So those are the rules or regulations given in the financial regulations. Right? Hope you can understand the framework of financial regulations. Right? Okay, now let's move to the slides, maybe the area. Right, here again, the financial regulation of the government of Sri Lanka, that Ceylon government, Ceylon, instead of Sri Lanka, this was named as Ceylon, now no more Ceylon. Minister of Finance, he is the one, right? Minister of Finance is he's be answerable to the parliament. So there are so many ministries, right? Maybe Education Ministry, Agriculture Ministry, Road Development Ministry, whatever the ministries, all the accounts are, right? Compiled and reported to the parliament through the finance minister, right? So he is the one having the ultimate responsibility to answer for the parliament. So that is key important thing. So that is why Minister of Finance or maybe the Finance Ministry has issued this guideline, right? How we have to deal with the doing incurring the expenditure, or when you are collecting the income, how we have to do when you're budgeting, what are the procedures, right? When you are writing the check, what are the procedures? When you're making a payment, what are the procedures we want to follow? So all these things are given here in this guideline. Okay. So again, the secretary to the ministry, that is normal thing, right? And one more important thing I can tell you, the treasury, right? You want to know about the treasury, right? Treasury is coming under the finance ministry, right? This is comprising around 13 treasury departments, right? This is all one now. It has been 13 treasury departments: National Budget Department, Department of Fiscal Policy, right? Department of Public Finance is there, and Department of Public Enterprise. This is also most relevant for us, right? Department of Public Accounts is applicable for university system, right? Since we are coming under the as a state-owned enterprises, right? And this Public Finance Department is the department which is responsible to issue this guideline. This guideline in the sense financial regulations and subsequent amendment. There are few amendments, not much. There are few amendments that also has been made by this Department of Public Finance. And there is another department that is not available here. I can tell you, right? National Budget Department. If you want to prepare budget, we have to call it national budget, right? Overall budget for the entire university, and we have to submit the budget through the UGC to the National Budget Department, right? National budget. There are certain programs or events are there in the universities. For that, we are preparing minor budgets, so small budgets. Those I'm not talking about those budget. This is national budget. We have to this national budget department. They will release ISO budget calls or maybe budget circulars, right? Okay. So and there is another department, the Treasury Operation Department. That is one of another important department. They are responsible for releasing fund for us. Right? They are issuing the cash or interest or maybe fund for us. So this is the general idea. You can go to the website, right, of the Ministry of Finance, and you can learn these things, right? So these you can use these things as a reference now, right? In addition to that. Right. Again, these financial regulations are binding on all government departments, statutory bodies, and similar institutions. And all government officers are hereby required to acquaint themselves with the provisions of these regulations. Right. Hereafter, if any teacher come and tell you this financial regulation is not applicable to us, you just take this area and show him. Tell him that. Explain that. No. These are all the government officers are responsible to follow these guidelines, regulations. So that is I wanted to give you some brief introduction or brief overview of these financial regulations, right? So now I think you might have got some understanding about what financial regulations and why financial regulations are required for us, right? Hope you can understand. Can you reply one? Can one of you reply? Right, we are going to move to some other areas, right? Is it understandable?
Can you enlarge the screen a little bit?
Okay.
Uh,
Is it okay?
yeah,
Is it okay?
Faustina, excuse me, sir. Faustina, you can, we can enlarge ourselves also. Just check that. Okay, it has been
Okay.
enlarged.
Cannot know because uh, is it possible from our side?
Yes, I enlarge.
Okay.
Yes, I have enlarged.
All right.
Now
Okay.
is it okay? Now okay, right?
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Those are the right brief ideas I wanted to give you, right, before moving on to the contents, right, before learning the contents, what the inside of the financial regulations. I wanted to give you some brief introduction about what this is, right? So with that, financial regulations are right introduced with started with FR number 1, and below there are so many FR numbers. Not all FRs are relevant for us. Right, keep in mind only few FRs are relevant for us because this is mainly targeted on the ministries and departments. Right, because simply I can say we are not doing SIGAS accounting or we are not using ITMI system. Right, so those are we are not Kacheri people, right? We are not DS officers. So not all areas are relevant for us, but few of the areas are most critical, most relevant for us. Right here, first one, starting with for one financial year, right? Normally the companies normally we know, right? Starting from April 1st of April to 31st December, 31st March of the particular year, right? But the government organizations, maybe universities or corporations or whatever, departments, ministries, they always start with 1st of January and ending with 31st December. That is why we are preparing our annual report for the respective year, right? For the starting from the 1st of Jan and 31st December, right? So annual accounts also the same thing, starting from 1st of Jan to 31st December. So this is simple thing, right? So keep in mind. So with that, moving on to the FR number 2, financial regulation. This is, as I mentioned you already, constitutional provision also there. In the constitution itself, there are certain provisions with regard to the financial matters, right? So I want to connect this matter, this constitutional provision, with our University Act, right? In our University Act, I want to connect this. So that is the main idea I wanted to touch this area. So here, Parliament shall have full control over public finance. No tax or no rate or any other levy shall be imposed by any local authority or any other public authority except by or under the authority of law passed by the Parliament. Right here, what it says is no one can create any fund. No one can uh, collect any fund or any money from the public or whatever the sources, unless the parliament has authorized. Right. So how our universities can collect fund? We are collecting fees. We are collecting a donation, maybe some other sources of income we are receiving. We are generating internal fund, internal courses. We are conducting short courses, external degree programs, postgraduate programs. So we are raising funds. So how this can be done is University Act also passed in the Parliament, right? Under Part 8 of the University Act, there are certain provisions, right? So Parliament itself, as I mentioned, every act has been passed in the Parliament. So Parliament has authorized the university system to collect their revenue, right? Collect revenue, and that will be taken to the university fund, right? That is the idea I want to give you, right? So again, the funds of republic not allocated by law to a specific purpose shall form one consolidated fund. Right now, here there is main fund. We are talking about public fund, right, or general public fund, or fund of the republic, right? Our fund, your and my fund, right? My money, right? Our fund, right? That means public fund in the sense, whatever the money, wherever it is kept, even though you have collected donation to the university, that also, why I am highlighting this area is, this also one of the key concern. Teachers, what they do is, they say that we have generated this income from external degree courses. So we are going to use this for a foreign trip for our academic people. Can they say no? because this is also governed under the public fund. So, as I already mentioned you, Public Financial Management Act number 44 of 2024, that is strictly now very, very strict, and that is also mentioning that about the accountability and transparency about the public fund. So, since whatever or every source of money collected by the university or whatever so the organization, that is the money of the public, the fund of the republic of the public fund. So no one can play on that, right? So here, this guideline or this financial regulation is mainly focusing about the consolidated fund. Consolidated fund is the fund which is maintained by the treasury, right? Not in the university. This is maintained by the treasury, right? Treasury is maintaining this fund. Out of this consolidated fund, treasury can give some portion of fund for our university as a treasury grant, right? So, normally every year, this financial year, we are coming back to the financial year again. Budget also prepared for what? For the period of 1 year starting from 1st of Jan to 31st December, right? So, budget based on the budget relocation or budget provisions and how budget passed also will discuss in future in upcoming classes. This is very huge area budgeting, right? So once budget is normally, I'll summarize this. Budget is normally passed in the parliament. Once the budgetary allocation is passed, right, treasury operation department, they will release fund for particular organization, particular institution, right, department or maybe ministry, or whatever the body, right? So the treasury operation department, they will release fund out of this consolidated fund. Consolidated fund is maintained by the treasury, so they will release fund for our university as well. So you can see this, right? These are the financial provisions right here under 99, section 99 of the University Act. Institutions, so higher educational institution shall have a fund to be called university fund, right? Don't mix these two, right? University fund is a separate fund. Consolidated fund is another separate fund. Consolidated fund is maintained by the treasury. University fund is maintained by the university, particular university system, right? I will tell you another bribery case example also, right? Practical example also. I will tell you, right, after a few minutes. So come to this. So into this university fund, what are the things included? Fees to be paid to the higher education, right? What are the fees we are collecting? Library fees, exam, maybe, right? Convocation fees, whatever the fees authorized, right? In terms of the circulars. But one more thing you just remember, point blankly, you can't collect the fees from the students, or maybe you can't, collect donation, and you can't spend for any other faculty purpose or whatever purpose. Whatever the money collected, there should be a provision to collect the particular money or particular fees, and that should be accounted or taken to the account of the university, right? Then only it will become accountable, right? Bank account, this should be transferred to the bank account and should be accounted for, right? Without bringing to the bank account, some people, what they do is maybe, right, some employees or staff, what they do is they personally collect for the improvement of the faculties, or maybe for some other birthday parties or whatever the parties, or maybe for some events they collect. That is not allowed, right? So this fees also is coming under the whatever the approved fees as collected fees will be taken to the university account, right? University fund. And income from endowments, right? If there are any donations, right, from approved donations, that also will be treated as will be taken to the university fund. And again, third one, C part, money is provided by the parliament. I told you, right? Parliament means, parliament, what they do is they pass the budget that is normally passed in the Appropriation Act, right? You may not know about the Appropriation Act. So simply I say budgeting, right? Based on the annual budget, we allocated some provisions. Then from that delegation, out of that delegation, Treasury Operation Department will release certain amount of money, or based on the particular case, they will release money for us, right? That is the meaning of here. So here also they will release money from where? From the consolidated fund, right? I can show you, right, one AI generated image to explain this more. right? Can you see this? Is it visible? I have presented one one image.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Right. I think this image will be more than enough to understand what consolidated fund and university fund, right? Two things are two different funds, right? Recently, right, I remember, right, since I'm in the procurement area, I'm not directly known about this matter, but I'm going to tell you. But recently, there was an issue with, right, university fund, right? And treasury level bursaries, so they had a meeting or something, but I don't know how they concluded. Actually, there were some arguments about this university fund, whether it is coming under statutory fund or not statutory fund, right? I'm not going to give you the answers, right? So there are still argument points. I think I don't know how they have concluded. Auditor General have highlighted something or something, right? I'm not familiar about that, no. So this is also you want to know about this, right? University fund. This is separate fund, right? I can right tell you one more practical example, right? Once, like in your age, right, like in 2018 I was appointed, and within 1 year time I got an opportunity to go to the bribery commission, right? I was given that opportunity to visit the bribery commission, right? Before explaining, I will show you one circular, right? Then that is not available, unfortunately. I'll saying that, right? Not there, right? Anyhow, there was a circular issued in 2025 saying that no universities or there may be public institutions are not allowed to print. And now tell me, or let me tell you, from this one to this one, from consolidated, that there was a circular avoid or stopping or preventing from printing diaries and calendars from this consolidated fund. That means the fund allocated by the treasury, right? This is actually one university has printed diary, right, using the internally generated fund, right? Specifically, they have mentioned, right? This was taken to the bribery commission, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, whatever, right? I got this opportunity, and I went and I took this financial calculation area, and I told them, right, consolidated fund is a fund maintained on university system, and I highlighted these areas, right? This fund is here, rates and revenues, not allocated to specific purpose. Consolidated fund is not allocated from the treasury. It has been already allocated to the another fund, university fund. So I argued that this is not printed out of the consolidated fund. This has been purely printed under the university fund. I explained based on this principle. Then they accepted, and thereafter everything is right. Right. So these are the things that this was very helpful for me to explain to the bribery commission people. Right. So now you can understand the difference between the consolidated fund and the university fund. Right. So university fund. Right. So Constitution of Sri Lanka says, right, consolidated about the consolidated fund. This is national fund, all taxes and income. Under the Ministry of Finance and Treasury it is maintained. Right. And University Act, under University Act it is created, right? This is a statutory fund actually, because this was created where? Right? This was a problem. Actually, this was the question, whether it is statutory fund or it is just a vote of account, right? Expenditure vote, right? I don't know the answer, right? I don't know what they have decided. There was a critical arguments, right, in the university system. And government grants, I told you, government is giving the grant, providing the grant as per the annual allocation. And internally generated revenue also will be taken to the University Act, University Fund. Employees, University Council is the responsible, right, for the management. Maybe the Vice Chancellor is the accounting officer, right? So this is the basic idea I can share between the share to teach you with the difference or relationship between the consolidated fund and the university fund, right? Out of the university fund, what are the expenses we can incur? Salaries or maybe lab equipment, procurement, supplies, right? There are so many expenses we can incur out of the university fund, right? Okay, hope you can understand something out of this session. Can you understand? Is it understandable?
Yes, understandable.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Again, right? Again, I want to connect this financial provision in the University Act. Here, all other money belonging to the higher education, right? Whatever so money you have collected, that also will be treated as the fund of the university. The university fund, the universities are accountable, and also ultimately university fund also is fund, right? Keep in mind. So no one can say, no teacher can say, this is not coming under the government fund. They will say that this is not government fund. This is our fund. Whose fund? Your fund or not my fund. This is the fund of the Republic of the public, general fund. Public funds. So we are accountable, and Public Financial Management Act is very concerned, very serious about this, right? There should be accountability, right, with regard to management of the university fund. At the same time, consolidated fund also, right? So we can move on to the next area, right? There are so many areas, but I have not touched upon. Right, again, consolidated fund, I told you, right, not specifically allocated, but money may be in the central bank, right? Right, I'm not going to discuss these things in deep. Again, right, expenditure from the consolidated fund, right? Maybe even out of the university fund, right? We can make some expenditures, right? I told you, universities use the university fund. University fund means what? Treasury grant or whatever the fund, university, right? Treasury grants are used to pay the salary, personal emoluments, traveling expenditure, right? These are simple contractual services like CEB, right? Networking, right? Everything. And capital construction, right? Human resource development, capital expenditures, right? So these are the normal things that you can have some understanding. So when you are going to work practically, you will get some more ideas or exposes with regard to these budgeting, these areas. So this is actually these areas I have not covered because it will take time regarding budget. Budgeting is a big right, huge process, large process. I'm not going to explain you about budgeting now, right? So that is also another key area that we have to deal with. So in future classes, if time permits, or if I do the classes in future, right, we will cover, right? So these are the things I have, right? Recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure, right? Out of the fund we receive from the treasury grant, make these expenditures, right? Current expenditures, the current nature, salaries, and capital nature expenditures also we use, right? We'll go to other areas, important areas that are relevant to all. Right? If I start to present all these budgeting and all those things, we will get upset on first class. So I'm not going to touch all these things, right? Important area that also coming under the accountability, right? Accountability and transparency, right here. Financial management and accountability. This is another very important area, right? I'll read right slowly. The finance minister is in charge with raising revenue and collection of government monies. Right, we are mainly here looking into the expenditure or maybe expenses part, right? Not the revenue part, because we are mainly expenditure incurring organization, right? Our main target is we are spending a lot of money, billions and billions of money, university systems, right? So we'll look into the expenditure area rather than giving more time to the revenue part, right? So here, right, you just understand the hierarchy, right? First person is accountable person is finance minister. He is the first responsible person, is directly answerable to the parliament, right? What chief accounting, what the finance minister does is he can't go and monitor, he can't go and see or supervise entire organization. There are a lot of ministries, a lot of organizations, lot of corporations, statutory bodies, and government-owned entities, ministries, departments. There are a lot of organizations or entities. So each and every organization he can't alone go and monitor. So for this purpose, for each ministry, the finance minister, what he does is for the financial management part, financial accountability part, not for the general administration, for the financial administrative part, he is giving the appointment. Finance minister is giving the appointment to the secretary to the finance secretary to the particular ministry. Say, for example, education ministry secretary will be appointed as the chief accounting officer, CAO, right? Chief accounting officer. Chief accounting officer is not the chief accountant or not the bursar or someone, right? He is the he's the person. He is the secretary to the particular given line ministry. At the same time, for the financial matters, financial affairs, or for the financial accountability and management, the finance minister is appointing the secretary to the particular line ministry as a chief, right? Chief accounting officer, not the chief financial officer, chief accounting officer. Chief financial officer is Bursara in terms of university. Here, chief accounting officer. Accounting is what? Accountability. He is the one accountable. So he's the one. So assume under the education ministry, the university system, UGC, right? There are so many other education department, exam department. All these are right incurring expenditure. So for all these transactions, or for all these financial affairs, the particular chief accounting officer, he will be accountable and he will report directly to the Minister of Finance. That is the second part. Third part is, right, the particular secretary of the line ministry, he alone cannot go and see each and every activities or each and every actions of particular departments. So in this case, what he does, what normally this financial regulation itself mentions that the departmental head of the departments. So in terms of the departments, there are certain departments, exam department, right? Exam director general or whoever, right? Education department, director general maybe, right? Or maybe commissioner of exam department, right? For universities, vice chancellors, right? They are treated as whom? They are treated as the accounting officers for under their particular department, under their particular institution. For financial affair, financial matters, that particular person or particular accounting officer, he will be accountable. He will be reporting to the chief accounting officer. That means directly reporting to the Minister of Finance. Sorry, Minister of Secretary to the particular ministry. If it is Education Ministry, he will be reporting to the Secretary to the Education Ministry. Right? That is the flow. So now we know about the accounting officers, chief accounting officers, then finally Minister of Finance. Then he will finally report to whom? To the Parliament. That is the flow. Right? So in addition to this, one more thing is, with regard to the accounting officers of the university system, right? In the University Act itself, right, mentioned that the vice chancellors are the accounting officers for the particular university. Say, University of Kalaniya, vice chancellor of University of Kalaniya. He is the accounting officer. He will be reporting to whom? To the he will be responsible to report to the chief accounting officer. And University of Jaffna, vice chancellor, he will be the accounting officer. He will be responsible to be report to the chief accounting officer of the, that means secretary to the particular education ministry. Right? This is how the hierarchy of accountability of financial management works, right? Hope you can understand few, at least few out of this, right? You can understand this area. Very simple, right? Why I'm highly highlighting this accounting officer, chief accounting officer, is because we want to know what are the responsibilities and what are the roles of the vice chancellor as an accounting officer, and what are the roles of the chief accounting officer as a chief accounting officer, the finance, the secretary to the particular education ministry as a chief accounting minister, chief accounting officer, right? So mainly, as we are going to work directly under the vice chancellor, he is directly treated as an accounting officer. In our University Act also, it has been specifically mentioned that, right? The University Act, the vice chancellor shall be the accounting officers of the university. Similarly, the registrars also will be treated as the assistant accounting officers, but they are also accountable. Sometimes, in the absence of the vice chancellors, registrars will have to, right, will be reporting to the chief accounting officer. Right, this is the main idea that I want to give you with regard to accounting officers and chief accounting officers. Now, one by one, we are going to see what are the responsibilities and functions of the accounting officers, and what are the responsibilities of chief accounting officers, and I'm going to connect those functions to our university system. Right? Right. Some noises coming there. Can you please mute? Right. Okay, down the line. Can you see the slide? So maybe the relation here. Can you see the slide on screen? Is it visible? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, this is visible.
Okay. So, right. Right now we will see what are the responsibilities of the accounting officers, right? First we will look into the responsibilities of the accounting officers, right? General responsibilities of accounting officer. That means what are the responsibilities of the vice chancellor in terms of the financial affairs, financial management, right? That is the area that I'm going to cover now. Right? An accounting officer is responsible and reporting to the chief accounting officer for the financial administration of his department. Right? So since the vice chancellors are the accounting officers of the university, the particular vice chancellors have to be responsible to the chief accounting officer. Right? In terms of what? Right? He want to ensure that, right? So these are the responsibilities. I will explain one by one, right? So the work or department has been planned, whatever the work, right? There may be construction work, there may be procurement or whatever so work. He want to ensure that that has been well planned, right? Without planning, right? Everything. If there is no procurement plan, what will happen? There will be no efficiency of the work, right? So that is one thing he want to ensure. And second one is uh, he wants to ensure that every operation within the financial operation within the universities are efficient. Right? Without efficiency, right? Without efficiency, no matter. Right? So he has to ensure that there are some vice chancellors, right? They are very strict on efficient work. Right? They always say that we have to complete the examination on time, right? Then only we will pay, right? Exam claim. So that is dealing with what? The payment. So we will so the efficiency. So without maybe sometime files may not be completed or construction work may not be completed. So there is no efficiency there. And also there may be some collectible amounts dues to the government university, right? So we want to collect the money, right, or dues to the government promptly, So these are the supervisory part, right? He has to ensure that these all the operations within the particular university has been carried out with high efficiency, right? And also he can give, right, in addition to the financial regulation, the vice chancellors can give or maybe circulate internal circulars, internal instructions he can give, right? So he can give supplementary instructions in addition to the financial regulations or in addition to some other circulars. He can he can give some instruction to the subordinative staff, right? And also he can uh, he want to ensure that there are proper internal control system has been designed by the university and internal checks, right? Checking part. For example, if a payment has to be passed, he want to check. He want to ensure, not checking. He want to ensure, right? This has been followed through proper channel, right? Proper procedures has been followed. So these are the things he want to ensure. And also he want to ensure that all the monies, all the properties or equipment of the university, or maybe stores, right, assets of the university has been properly safeguarded, right? Because everything is ultimately everything is money, right? Everything is fun, right? Everything is public fund. Wrong, if any wrong thing happened, he want to answer, he want to be answerable to whom? To the chief accounting officer, right? Chief accounting officer may ask, right, what happened to this? Even sometime in COP, Committee on Public Enterprises, right? Say for example, vice chancellors will be requested to be present there. He want to explain, right? If the things go wrong, he is the one. He's the one explain the things, right? These are the things gone wrong. What are justification and everything, right? So he want to ensure that there is no misappropriation of fund or mishandling of funds has been there in the university system, right? That is another uh, right function of the accounting officer. And also, if sometime right he want to present the universities want to present or submit the annual accounts, or they want to provide some certain reports. Sometime treasury or maybe UGC or treasury will ask, or maybe finance chief accounting officer, ministry secretary will ask for some certain details or reports. So vice chancellor has to ensure that all the relevant information required has been promptly submitted or rendered to the particular purpose, right? And also, this one I already explained, right? Collection of the government dues. So if there is any bond violation, or if there is any, if there is any dues, right? For say, for example, no pay amount, no pay recovery. All these things should be promptly collected by the organization. So that one here, the accounting officer will be responsible, right? Vice chancellor will be responsible, right? Same things, right? Again, repeated the same things, right? Mainly, right, the activities of the department are undertaken with due regard to, with regard to efficiency, economy, right? Economy means low cost. Some people, what they do is when they are procuring items, they always go for the low cost item, but there is no quality. Then there is no efficiency and effectiveness. So he want to ensure that all these the departmental activities are, especially construction area or procurement area or payment, right? All these things has been conducted with due consideration for the economy, efficiency, and high integrity. Integrity is very important. Ethical matter. Integrity. Honestly, we have to do the work, right? Sometimes there may be some corruptions, right? Misappropriations may happen, right? So the accounting officer, vice chancellor, as an accounting officer, he wants to ensure that, right, there is no such things happen, right? And the other next one is any expenditure or commitment incurred falls within the scope or within the what, right? Sometimes there is no budgetary provision, there is no budget reallocation. We just spend the items. So, sorry, there is no, for example, we have hired 10 employees on assignment basis or maybe on contract basis. But there is a circular, don't appoint people on contract basis. Don't people take the people on an assignment basis. So violating the circular, how we are going to, right, appoint the people? So if we appoint, if they appointed, we have to pay salary. Or sometime we will receive fund for recurrent expenditure, recurrent expenditure. Sometimes what the universities will do is they will utilize this for what? For the capital construction. Salary. We are receiving fund for the salary. You can't utilize it for the construction purpose. They will utilize, sometimes utilize for the construction. So all these things should not happen. Right? These are the vice chancellor as an accounting officer, right, in terms of financial affairs. He wants to ensure that, right, these things are not happening within the university. Right? Right. So these are the basic things, right? This is appropriation account is not relevant to us. Even for the departments also, for the time for nowadays, this is even not relevant for them also, right? And also, he want to ensure that officers liable to provide security, right? Okay, these are, I'm not going to explain in deep, right? So these are the general responsibilities of the accounting officer. Now let's see what are the responsibilities of the chief accounting officer in terms of the financial management and accountability, right? Financial administration part, right? I told you who is the chief accounting officer, right? Chief accounting officer is responsibility to the minister of finance, right? So within his purview, say Minister of Ministry, he is the Chief Accounting Officer, Secretary of the Education Ministry, right? So he wants to ensure that all the activities within all universities, within all other exam department or maybe education department, right? All are in line with the regulations, right? He is responsible. You see that he want to ensure that he want to monitor that accounting officers, each of the accounting officers, right? In terms of university, there are 17 universities, 17 accounting officers has planned the financial work, right? As I already mentioned, accounting officer also want to ensure that he has planned the financial work within the particular university, but he want to ensure that all the universities have planned the financial work and carried out the work properly in accordance with the advanced plan, right? Okay. And also, he has to make a system, right, which provides adequate control over expenditure. That means what? He can release, issue circulars, right? He can issue directives or guidelines or circulars, right? Ministry circulars, right? Since we are directly coming under the monitoring of the UGC, so, UGC is right giving most of the circulars. But in terms of other, right, exam department, assume that exam department, education department also coming under the Ministry of Education. So for them, they will directly issue the circulars. But for a university system, for universities, this is coming under the higher educational unit, right? Especially since there is UGC, right? This is the monitoring body that is giving guidelines and circulars, right? I can show you, right? For newly appointed people, external people, especially for the external people, I can show you how you are going to. Right? Especially for the external category people, if you want to see any circulars, right, with regard to financial matters which has been issued by the UGC, you can directly go to this university UGC website and go to policy, and then you can find whatever the circulars if you want, right? Financial circulars. Right? If you want financial related circulars, you can find from logging into this area. If you want to get some circulars with regard to, right, establishment or maybe right commission circulars, you can come and see here. And especially financial circulars, you can find some circulars here which has been which are issued by the UGC, right? Right. Having said that, coming to this session, right? So again, he want to ensure that, right, the chief accounting officer or secretary to the line ministry, education ministry. He's a chief accounting officer. He wants to ensure that existing items of expenditure as well as proposals. So, right, if you want to establish a new faculty, or if you want to construct a building, right, he has to ensure that the proposals has been prepared, and in the proposal this particular construction has been included. Right, these are the things right he want to ensure, and he also want to ensure that the particular works or financial matters have been carried out with proper economy and efficiency of matters, right? And also he has to ensure that all cases of doubt or difficulty are referred to him, so that if any administrative difficulties, if the universities are facing or accounting officers are facing, they can take directly to the chief accounting officer, right? So these are the right, basically, in simple, what I can say is the chief accounting officer's roles are mainly supervisory. They are the supervisors. They will supervise. They will monitor, right, the accounting officers' activities or activities coming on within the accounting officers, maybe the departments. But accounting officers or maybe vice chancellors as accounting officers, they will be responsible to ensure that the financial matters are conducted in with efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. So this is the summary that I can give you with regard to the responsibilities and functions of the accounting officers and chief accounting officers. Right. So hope you have got something out of this area. Hello. Actually, these things no need to be by-hearted. Uh, my purpose is to give you some ideas, right? So not to read through this, not to read out through, not to run to read through these slides. I want to give you some ideas, right? If you want to have someone reference, if you want to refer, if you want to get some solution for a problem, right? Before discussing with your colleagues, you just try to get some right exposes or try to search from these areas, right? There are financial regulations, there are directives, right? UGC circulars. You just come and see there, then you will be able to find something, right? After that, you just go and discuss with your colleagues and confirm that these things are okay, right? Your understanding is okay. So that's all about the understand. That's all about accounting officers and chief accounting officers. So far I have shared with you something about financial regulations, why financial regulations are applicable to university system, to whom the financial regulations are applicable, and who are the sorry, before that, what is consolidated fund and what is university fund, how university funds are collected, and what are the what are the expenditures are incurred out of the university fund, right? Again, we have discussed about the roles of functions of the accounting officers, and then what are the functions of the chief accounting officers, and we have some, I have shared some ideas about the treasury operations and treasury finance ministry, how they are connected, and how we have to get the circulars from the UGC website, and even I can show you, right, this one, treasury also, treasury area also I can show you, treasury.lk, right? Treasury.lk. Sorry, no. Right, Ministry of Finance. Right. Hope you can you see the slide? Can you, is it visible?
Yes, it's
we
visible,
can.
sir.
Right, okay. This is the right front page of the website of the Ministry of Finance. So what you can do is there are several departments, right, coming under the Ministry of Finance, and there are circulars also. They are available circulars, right? You can go and just read, right? So these are the important right, departments that we want, right? National Budget Department, they are a budget circular. Just go and read. No need to understand anything. Just go and read. And Department of Public Finance, this is the department which issues financial regulations, right? Earlier, this particular department only issued the procurement guidelines and manual. Now there is no more procurement guideline and manual issued by this Public Finance Department. Now it has been shifted to the National Procurement Commission, right? So we will discuss about the procurement if time permits. Probably I am planning to leave abroad within a couple of weeks, maybe next month. So if time permits, so if we are getting, if you are interested to do to share to get some ideas out of my lecture, I can continue. And Treasury Operation Department is this also one of the most important department that we want, because they are the people releasing fund for money for us, right? Fund for us. They will give interest, or interest and means what? Cash, money. They will. So these are the things you can look into, and you can go and read, right? So few of other areas, right? They are Public Financial Management Act, that is very important. You read that one. Just read. Don't need to understand. You just go through. If you want, I can share the slides. So one more thing I wanted to do for the in today's session is mainly the delegation part, delegation of financial function. That is, as I already told you, in the as a practical example, I highlighted that one lecturer came and asked me to pay 60,000 something without prior approval. He purchased. So there is no authorization. So this is one of the most important area, right, that I wanted to take you through. Right, we'll start with that. We'll start with this area, and right, I want to make it as 10 o'clock, right? No more, no beyond 10 o'clock, because 1.5 an hour is 1.5 an hour. Right? You also will be, we are not learning for the exam purpose. We just, right, sharing our knowledge, that's all. Right? This is the most important area that ARO, ABO, whoever wants, right? This is the most important part. This is be very familiar with this. Huh? Unfortunately, most of the people, right, the registrar category or even academic teachers, they don't know about this, right? They are not worried about it. Delegation of financial control, or maybe financial functions, right? This is in terms of two areas. This can be delegated. One is expenditure control, other one is revenue control. Now I'm going to focus on the expenditure area, very key area, right? Right, very very important, right? So this expenditure area, right? I told you know, finance minister is appointing chief accounting officer. That is delegation, part of delegation. Chief accounting officer, then accounting officer, then other delegation. Right? Similarly, within the organization, within the university, there are delegations. Right? In terms of the expenditure, there are four areas to be delegated. Right? First one is authorization, right? Authorization, right? Keep in mind authorization. I told you prior approval, just in simple term, I can say prior approval. Before executing some work, before doing some work, for example, you want to, your faculty AR, right? Faculty AR, you want to conduct a training program for the students, so workshop or whatever. Right? You want to write, uh, you want to provide lunch for the faculty board members, for example. So before providing lunch, you want to get the permission or approval, right? Prior approval. That is from the dean or maybe the bursar or registrar or vice chancellor, whoever it is, right? Within their prescribed limit. Right? For example, so dean can approve, authorize within the limit of 20,000, say for example. So you just write to the dean. Dean, we have to provide lunch for 5 students. This cost, sorry, for the 5 members, external members, 3 members. So for them, we have to arrange 10,000 rupees. Just he will approve. That is authorization. Before executing the work, it should be authorized. Right? He says this is about 100,000 or maybe 200,000. Right? If the amount is higher, then next level. Right? That depends on the delegation. That is not unique amount. The amount is not unique for entire university. That differs. University to university, that differs. Right? I will show you how the delegation of financial function has been delegated to the staff of the SUSL. I will show you if you want, right? Within a few minutes. Again, after uh, right? After obtaining the authorization, that particular program or work has been done, lunch has been provided. Say, for example, for 20,000, you have provided lunch. Then what happened? You want to make the payment to the shop from where you have bought. Then here, what do you have to do is you have to make the payment. So before making the payment, you have to prepare a voucher, and in the voucher itself, there will be another person. Sometime authorizing person also may be delegated to this for both for authorization and for approval. So when we are making the payment after incurring the particular event, after completing the event, right, we want to make the payment. So for payment things also, there should be there may be a designated or delegated person, right? He will be responsible to sign the voucher, approval in the voucher, right? Normally, right, maybe registrar can be delegated, assistant accounting, assistant register, AR, ABs, vice chancellor, that depends on the university, right? Whatever the university, they write within their available resources, human resources, they will delegate, right? Delegation will what? Will ease the work, will make the work easy, right? And also whoever are delegated will be responsible for their activities, right? They have to be, they have to get the ownership of their work, and they want to do the work with high responsibility, right? That is about the approval part, right? Third one is certification, right? First one is authorization, approval. Third one, certification. Certification is most of the people think that certified original in the invoice or document, that is certification. No, not that. That is not the certification. Certification is payment certification that should be made in the placed in the voucher, payment voucher, right? Normally, certifying officer will be the financial officer, right? In most of the time, financial officer will be the certifying officer. Will be final responsibility. He want to see that the particular program has been authorized or particular payment has been approved. Then only he want to certify, right? There are so many instances, right? Financial officers or ABs suffer in this area. When we are certifying the voucher, we will find some right shortcomings, right? Supporting documents may not be attached, or maybe right there are lack of evidences. Right? Sometimes the particular event has not been completed, but they will claim payment. Can we make the payment? No, we can't make the payment. I told one instance, without getting the authorization, he purchased some items for about 60,000. Still, after so many years, we have not paid. We can't pay now because violation of not not in line with the financial regulation, right? So in that way, certification is done by the financial officer or assistant birth category people. After that, payment will be made by check, right? Payment will. So I will now time is not enough to teach you how the payment is. What are the responsibilities of the payment officer? What are the responsibilities of the certifying officer? Uh, how the checks are, because they are also there. No? So most of the time, your support also will be required for us for the birth or finance people. Why? You are the people going to put the second sign on the check. Second sign, second signatory authority, authorized people. So you want to know how this check process happens, right? How the payment process happens, right? These are the things you want to be knowing. So these are the things you can go through this area and you can just go and read, right? See here, the following stages of functions may be distinct expenditure with regard to expenditure authorization, right? Who is authorizing officer? Right? This is authorization. With regard to authorization, FR 136 says about authorization and who is authorizing officer and what are the responsibilities of authorizing officer. Then again, 137, this is about approval. Who is the approving officer? What are the responsibilities of him? Right? Then you can read that. And again, 138 about, it's about certifying vouchers, right? Who is the certifying officer and what are his responsibilities? And last one is with regard to payment of vouchers, right? Drawing the check and issuing the check to the particular payee, right? That's all about this delegation. And one more thing I can tell you, this is practical one, right? So since we don't have time, we have another only 3 minutes time. So this slide is also one of the key and one of the important area. supervision of financial operations. See, I will read this, right? The accounting officer, because during the strike period, this was, this was a talk of the, talk among the people's mouth, right? Because they are the executive category people and non-academic officers were not there within the university. Only teachers were there. So they wanted to get the salary paid, right? So what happened ultimately? The chief accounting officer, he's the ultimate one. He has given a letter to the bank directly to release salary to the those teachers, right? So with that idea, you just listen to both come with me. The accounting officer may place an accountant, or in departments where there is no accountant, right? You may be aware of this incident in Trinco campus. One of our colleagues, one of our batchmate colleague, Dilshan, he got committed suicide, and he was after him there was no financial officer. Then, if there is no financial officer, who is it? Is it okay to delegate some other people other than the financial officer to deal with the financial matters? According to this financial regulation, this is allowed, right? I was asked, someone clarified for me that then I got this area and I told him, okay, according to this area, you can do this. Right? Where there is no accountant or any other suitable officer in charge for financial operation of the department, and delegate to him who is the responsibility. Who is responsible? Accounting officer is responsible to delegate him the duty of organizing and supervising the details involved in accounting of the receipts, issues, payment to the department, the custody of cash, stores, and other valuables. Accounting officer may also delegate the same officer the operation of system of internal control, right? So according to this, sometime in future, that as an A assistant registrars, you may hesitate to take over this area, to take over the responsibility of financial officers, right? According to this, there is no more accountant. Accountant means what? In the university system, assistant persons, ABs or SABs, whoever, right? In that case, you also are allowed, if the accounting officer, who is our accounting officer, vice chancellor, if we delegate that particular task, financial operation task for you, you are allowed, you can independently be as a independently do the work of the financial officer, right? That's all about that's all I wanted to share with you for the today's in today's session. Hope you have got something out of my out of today's session. And right now, one of you can, let's wind up the class. Before winding up the class, one of you can give you a feedback within 1 minute time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, on behalf of everyone present, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to today's resource person, Sir Safeek sir, for conducting this highly insightful session on the overview of financial regulations and their applicability to state universities in Sri Lanka. Your valuable knowledge, sir, your practical explanations and expert guidance have greatly enhanced our understanding of this important subject. Thank you, sir, and we sincerely appreciate your valuable time and effort invested in sharing your expertise and in making the session both informative and engaging. We are truly grateful for your contribution, sir, and wish you continue success in all your future endeavors. And also, we would also like to extend our thanks to Comrade Nirmal Jayatilaka for his support and contribution. Furthermore, we wish to acknowledge with deep appreciation the outstanding and invaluable service rendered by our beloved comrade Rohit Herath to the non-academic staff of Sri Lanka's State University. His remarkable contribution include organizing seminars and to assist staff members in preparing for promotional examinations, as well as providing guidance, representations, and support our in our addressing the various professionals, administrative and welfare related challenges faced by non-academic staff members. Uh, Through his dedication, sir, tireless effort and exemplary leadership, he has made a significant contribution to the professional development, career advancement, and well-being of the non-academic staff within the state university system of Sri Lanka. And thanks again, sir. Safeek sir, thanks again. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Good
thank
night.
you very much, Mr. Murthy. Thank you. In future, if time permits, Mr. Murthy, we can cluster certain areas. Budgeting one
Of course,
and
sir.
losses, right? Losses also very important key area. AR or AB, they will be right appointed as the inquiry officers with regard to government losses. So losses is key area. Auditing is internal auditing, and external auditing is another key area. So likewise, we can procurement, right? Procurement area, stores and management. Likewise, we can cluster certain areas, and if the candidates are interested, we can I can support in sharing
Please.
my personal experience and exposures. Thank you very much, and let's wind up the class. Thank you.